Folks, this is the True American Podcast, and I'm your host. We have with us a brother I've never had on before. I'm looking forward to talking to him. I was contacted by one of his people a few weeks ago, and actually, when they approached me, they were saying, "Hey, look, we'd like some of your views, perspectives on what are some of the key issues facing the Black community in Louisville." And so I shared my opinion with him, and then this gentleman said, "Hey, I really would like for you to speak to Stuart Ray. He's running for 3rd District. As many of you know, Congressman Yarmouth, he's stepping down. He's retiring. And so our brother here, Stuart Ray, is with the Republican Party. He says, hey, I'm gonna give this a shot because, he's all about wanting to do what's best for Louisville and what's best for the Commonwealth of Kentucky." Brother Ray, thank you. Appreciate you coming on, spending the next 15, 20 minutes with us.
Thanks, Corbin. Thanks for having me on. Look forward to it.
Brother, we don't have much time, but give me a little sense of your background. Where were you born?
Well, I was born in Columbus, Ohio, but I was in Louisville when I was 9 years old. So I always say I'm a Buckeye by birth, but a Kentuckian by the grace of God.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I love Louisville. It's my home, without a doubt. And I think from 9 years old on, it certainly qualifies you when you can answer the old Louisville question, where'd you go to high school? Mm-hmm. And I went to Ballard High School, kind of grew up in the Prospect area, and then went on and did a little bit of higher education, not a whole lot, but jumped into the company business. My father founded Steel Technologies, and I wanted to be in the business badly. And so joined the company when I was a young man, worked in operations out on the plant floor for some time, and then got into sales and did move to another district in Michigan for a couple of years and out east for a couple of years. But for the most part, have spent almost all my time here in Louisville, came back and worked on growing the company. And now I run my own metals and trucking business called the Peregrine Company. Have 5 children, and my wife of 25 years, Michelle, 3 older daughters, and they've given me some grandsons. So I'm pretty lucky in that regard. I have 4 grandsons with number 5 on the way. We're building our own basketball team with all these grandboys. And so I have number 5 on the way. And then I have my youngest son is a junior in high school, and my youngest daughter is a junior. Oh, I'm sorry. They're both going to be seniors in college. So I still got them all pretty spread out.
Great. In just that 2 minutes there, you have clearly shown us that you have some rather deep, strong ties to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I mean, as far as and not just Commonwealth of Kentucky, but also the 3rd District. I mean, I get the impression this campaign means a lot to you. 5 grandchildren, 5 grandchildren, 5 young children. Not young, but 25 years marriage, business. Your father has a business here. Then you established a business here.
Sure. No, I could have gone to a lot of locations or a lot of places in my life, but Louisville is my home. It means the world to me. And I am not looking to build a resume from a political standpoint. I'm doing this because I care about our country, what's going on in our country, and its impact on my community, which is all of Louisville. And so I'm frustrated with that. And that's why I decided to run for Congress, because I don't think anybody's happy with the state of the country, and I don't think anybody's happy with the state of Louisville.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about, what are the 2 or 3 things that's concerning you about Louisville?
Sure. Louisville specifically, I am running for federal office, so some of the things I talk about do and some don't overlap with a congressional seat. I think everybody is genuinely concerned with safety in Louisville and the crime rate, the gun violence that's in Louisville, and the murder rate that's going on. Everybody's concerned about safety, point blank. And you could work from a federal standpoint with the Department of Justice and help bring more resources to the community. I am for supporting the police, but I'm also very much for neighborhood policing and having our police be much more engaged and live in the communities and the neighborhoods that they serve. But we have to protect our citizens. We have to protect our children. I know the latest unfortunate child that got killed was recently an accidental shooting, but we all know that young people are dying in Louisville at a record rate. The murder rates escalated year over year. We have to do a better job for our children, and that's very important to me. Other areas are economic development. Corbin, I'm not happy with the fact that Louisville continues to lose headquarters. I think we should be attracting more economic development. I'm thrilled to see opportunities for Elizabethtown and Bowling Green and some of these large corporations landing in the state of Kentucky. But we need development here. We have some great footprints in West Louisville, in South Louisville. You mentioned you were in just South Louisville today, and we have some great opportunities where we could attract some good businesses that would provide really good paying jobs for a more balanced approach in the city of Louisville. I don't think anybody would applaud me if I brought another headquarters to the east end of Louisville off Hurstbourne Lane, but I definitely think that there's opportunities to do a better job balancing investment throughout the city.
Let me do a couple of quick follow-up questions here on public safety. I have to agree with you. The many people I speak with, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, liberal, or conservative,
sure,
if they're all responsible citizens, hey, public safety is critical. I mean, just I want to live, man. I don't want to be worried about walking down the street and someone knocking me on my head. But isn't it also important as far as the business atmosphere? If businesses are saying, "Oh my God, all the shooting and
correct,"
so that does impact. Public safety does impact
attracting business. Yep. And the third leg to that stool is quality education and quality public education. So I'm very frustrated with the performance of Jefferson County Public School. Mm-hmm. It's not the JCPS brings the entire state of Kentucky down in their performance averages. So we can't be satisfied with the performance of Jefferson County Public Schools, and unfortunately, some of the poor performing schools are in the more impoverished neighborhoods in the west end and in the south end of Louisville, and those need to be addressed. I do appreciate some of the approaches that were just rolled out in this year's plan, some of the broadening the magnet school approach. I am for school choice, whether that's faith-based schools or charter schools. I think competition is a good thing, even for the public schools. I'm a firm believer that the only way anyone's going to improve if they have, technically the threat of competition. So I agree with you, Corbin. It's those three legs to the stool. We've got to have safety, and we have to have a quality education to attract good businesses that want to come and locate here.
Now, you said that we have to have, a good education system that will attract more businesses here. Years ago, when I was working with Simmons Bible College, at the time of Simmons Bible College, I had a meeting at Greater Louisville Inc., or Greater Louisville Institute, and they said, well, what do you think is the major obstacle to getting more businesses here in Louisville? And I said, well, is it the standard of living? He said, no, we have a great standard of living, actually. Right. I said, well, is it the taxes? He said, no. He said, what it is that many businesses say, hey, if we come there, you guys don't have enough of an educated pool of workers for us to draw upon. And I was astounded at that.
Yeah. I also think we could invest more so in trade education, because trade education is a great education. It's not often it's not the commitment of a 4-year degree, and that's either a time commitment or a financial commitment. The cost of higher education is outrageous these days. So I think we need more investment in trade schools, because I've seen kids, even my own kids, have come out of school and they just didn't get the job that they would have expected after getting a 4-year degree. But we desperately need trade. And we're talking about people can come out of a trade school and they can, get into an entry-level position. And some of those are in the $60,000 to $100,000 ranges. They're really quality paying jobs in the trades. And I think that'll make a lot of people, a broader group of our citizens, more satisfied if they can, if we can attract those type of jobs, and then that'll help improved housing opportunities and just an overall improved lifestyle. Right.
Okay. So you gave us two: public safety, economic development. So you're basically saying, hey, put me in there as congressman representing the 3rd district. And these are two areas that you're going to give priority to, do you believe?
Yes, very much so.
Is there a third area, or is this pretty much it, these two?
Well, as far as, this doesn't impact Louisville directly, but it impacts all of our citizens. And, I'm not happy at all with the pace of spending that's going on in Washington. And I feel like that's been a key driver to the inflation. And the inflation is really the hardest tax on all of the citizens of Louisville right now. It's terrible. And this 8.5% month over month inflation is just, it's driving the cost of living up for everybody. $5 a gallon gas, $6.25 for diesel. And I don't like the policies of our administration, because I think you'd agree, Corbin, they're shoving this green initiative down our throats, and yet not everybody can afford to go out and buy an electric car. I mean, some of these cars are $75,000+, and 99% of all of us have a Chevy or a Toyota or a Ford out in the driveway that's a gas consuming vehicle, and it's got anywhere, if you're lucky, it's got 25,000 miles on it, or you might have 125,000 miles on it. The point being is you want to get another 50 to 150,000 miles out of that car. You can't afford to go out and buy an electric vehicle. So when we have to be energy independent to maintain respectable gas prices for everybody. And it's worrying me that we are neglecting a energy approach that is going to force $5 a gallon gas prices on everybody in Louisville. It's more expensive to get to work. I have some people that live in South Louisville. That's where they choose to live. And our business is on the other side of town, and they're driving 30 miles to work. It's just a huge tax on everybody.
As I'm listening to you, I say to myself, what you say really for me, has a lot of credibility, because you've lived this. I mean, you're an average guy, 25 years married, children.
Yep.
But you also help build the family business. You start your own business, so you know from personal experience about the importance of public safety, economic development, what it's going to take to attract businesses, what it's going to take to keep businesses here, how our young people, more of our young people need to be looking towards the trade because the opportunities are there. I mean, do you agree that, hey, my business background is really important here? It's critical?
I do. My opponent is for lack of a better term, a kind of a professional politician, and he served in Frankfurt for the last 12 years, wants to go to Washington. I think you have to have a real life, real world approach and a business approach, and knowing how the policies you're passing are going to impact not only the citizens of Louisville, but also the businesses of Louisville that are employers of those citizens. And if you've only come from Frankfurt or if you've only come from Washington, I think you lose touch with that. So I appreciate you flatter me by saying I bring that level of experience, but I do think it's vitally important to come at things with a practical business approach to a lot of matters.
Okay. Let me just say to our listeners right now, this is a True American Podcast. I'm your host. Speaking today right now with Stuart Ray. He's running for 3rd District congressional seat. And I think, well, let me ask you this real quick. If people want to get more information about you, do you have a website they can go to?
I do, and it is pretty simple. It's www.stuartrayforcongress.com. stuartrayforcongress.com.
Okay. And 4 is spelled out, F-O-R?
Yeah, R.
stuartrayforcongress.com. And so if people want to get a little bit more information about you and your program and possibly ways they can volunteer or donate, they can go to that website. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's conclude with just a couple of quick questions here. What you said here so far, public safety, economic development, battling this whole inflation madness, that cuts across class lines, geographic lines, and racial lines. Is there any specific things you want to say in a way of a voter appeal to black citizens in Louisville? Sure.
I just feel like, we have been run, we collectively, all citizens, but, specifically, I think the black citizens and the entire community, we've been run by decades by my opposing party. And I'm not saying Democrats are they're not all bad, because I really need a lot of Democrats to support me. But the policies of what's been going on in this city and what's been coming out of Washington have, for lack of a better term, wrecked our economy. And they haven't done a whole heck of a lot for the city of Louisville, and they haven't done a whole heck of a lot for the west end of Louisville. And I think everybody can face that. So I have an approach that I think that the black community of Louisville, the West Louisville, would buy into, and I think we have much more in common than we're opposite as. So I think if they give Stuart Ray a chance, I think that there's policies we can deliver that'll add really good paying jobs, bring business in an approach that's bought in by the community. So I'm not looking to force anything down anybody's throat. I want to go to the west end of Louisville and listen to what the community is looking for. But I know that they're looking for change, because they can't be satisfied with the direction of the last many years.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate the time you gave us. Only one suggestion I'd give you is that to please connect with the Louisville Defender. Yvonne Bach is the senior editor there, and
we've already out, so we are
fantastic. That's a fantastic move on your part. Absolutely fantastic move.
I want to listen. I do not have all the answers, so I also need to listen to the community as a whole and see how we can come up with a collective approach.
Yes, Vince, great. Sir, I appreciate your time again, and hope that we might be able to do this again sometime. If there's a particular specific issue you want to come on and just talk about and share with my listeners, that'd be great.
I'd love to. Pleasure's been mine, Corbin. Thank you very much.
All right, brother.